Call the Amador County Office of Education meeting to order. James is not here yet. We are waiting to hear from him, but the rest of us are here. Are there any deletions or corrections to the agenda?
There are not.
Okay, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on. We don't have any presentations or recognitions tonight. So we'll move on to our employee organizations. We do, first up, we have SEEK and Miss Angie Lucas.
Hello. Okay, I see myself. That's a bad angle, by the way. So I'm gonna try to be, yeah. I'm like, I really need to think about my posture here. Okay, hello everyone. We just completed our first school day with students for the 26-27 school year. It was hectic and chaotic, but really full of joy. All of my kids, even the ones I couldn't tell by their face, they indicated they were happy. And as a side note, for constructive criticism for planning next year, board meeting after first day, no thank you. That being said, I don't think I'm gonna try to make eye contact because I'll definitely lose my spot. So I'm gonna just go, maybe I'll hold it up there. All right, so I would like to highlight a couple of things today as we move forward into the new year. As I have previously shared, SEEK has established a very positive negotiating relationship with the district office team and has made great strides in establishing high quality incentives for our most difficult to hire positions. We're very grateful for that. I want to take this time now to highlight the value and need of hiring and retaining our counterparts, the members of CSEA 827, who work tirelessly with our students experiencing the most significant behavioral, medical, and cognitive needs. Without these people, our classrooms would not be able to function. We have several openings throughout the county programs right now, with some of our classes short over half the amount of required staff per our contract. And I noticed that Adrian will be sharing more about that coming up. I'd like to share a startling and concerning realization that my staff members experienced at the end of last year. We went out for an end-of-year celebration as a staff at Roundtable. While there, one of my aides started talking to an employee he knew from high school. The Roundtable employee ended up stating that his primary job duty was chopping vegetables for pizzas. He made $2 more than my staff member per hour. That staff member has since quit. We are entrusting these people with the livelihood and, quite frankly, the lives of our most delicate population. They make less than the people preparing your pizza. We received an email today sharing the projected health insurance increases. The same rates will hit all employees regardless of their salary. So I implore you to consider how we as a community can help all members of our system to ensure our organization remains whole in order to support all students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have CSEA and Ms. Hatton.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone, let me start over. I want to welcome everyone back to the new school year. Today was the first day of school, and it was great to see our students and staff back on campus. But I, for one, have to admit that 4 a.m. alarm came a little bit early today. As we begin back to the school year, as we begin back the year, I look forward to continuing to work with all of you as a CSEA chapter president. I'm committed to collaborating with the board, administration, and our classified employees to support student success and a strong school year. Our classified employees are essential to the daily operation of our school, from paraprofessionals, instructional aides, custodians. We are proud of the work that we do every day. As we look ahead, one of the concerns on our members' minds is healthcare. We are facing yet another increase in January, And I know this is something that will impact our employees and their families. I'm hopeful that we can come together to have a productive conversations and reach an agreement in a timely manner that works for everyone. I believe that through open communication, mutual respect, and partnership, we can meet the challenges ahead and continue to put students and our employees first. I look forward to a productive year and working together with each of you. Thank you, and I wish everyone a safe and successful school year.
Thank you, Ms. Hatton. Okay, next we're going to move on to public comment on non-agenda items. We do have one. Patricia and Gija.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a great first day of school. My name is Patricia Andija. I'm the mom of 2 Ione Elementary School students. I just wanted to use this time to follow up on things that have been brought up in meetings before, such as if there's been more thought given to before school ELOP. And then I also had a community member tell me a great idea, which is that for our foster youth and students facing homelessness, laundry at each school site might be something to consider. I know we have budget constraints, but just something to keep maybe on a back burner as an idea. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions or comments on consent?
No.
Ken, any questions or comments? Shane? No questions. Okay, I don't either, so we would just need a motion.
I move to approve item
9.
9. Thank you. Forgive me. Item 9, the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, and the vote, Peter?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Shane?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. Okay, moving on to communications. We do not have any. We also do not have any action items. Let's move on into our discussion items. We have the start of school human resources update. I think we have, yep. We do have a comment card on this item though, so we will hear from Patricia and Gija.
Good evening again, Patricia Andija, mom of 2 Ione Elementary School students. Another follow-up, has there been any thought given to giving junior highs a dedicated full-time behavioral counselor or psychologist, or possibly even 2? I met with Principal Wagner at Ione Junior High last spring, I think it was. And I know that or at least back then, the counselor was split between the elementary and the junior high. And I know that junior high is an especially vulnerable time, going through puberty and all those behavioral issues that come up. Just in the short hour I was there, I saw a lot. And I just want that kept in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Palazuelos.
Good evening, Board President, trustees. So this evening, I'm reporting back our start of school human resource report. There's a companion item on the Unified School District side. This one's for the County Office of Education. So with that, I'll jump right into it. So over the course of this summer, from the last time we met through the spring or late spring into summer, we're able to onboard a total of 9 staff members through the county side. So you can see our count there. One that I'd like to highlight that is extremely positive, we were able to hire a speech and language pathologist on the county side, which is a tremendous, tremendous effort given all the work that we were doing and trying to recruit for that. You can see that we've got an extensive support needs teacher, a mild moderate teacher, a deaf and hard of hearing teacher, which I'll tell you right now is another huge achievement. Our preschool teacher, a workability vocational technician, night custodian, and then 2 medically fragile paraprofessionals. Our work is ongoing in this effort. With respect to our certificated personnel, we do have some current openings that, going too fast. We do have some current openings that we're still recruiting for. We have an occupational therapist. We actually had this position filled, and just shortly before the school year started, the occupational therapist that we hired last year informed us that they would not be able to return this year due to some family care needs. So we have an occupational therapist that's now posted. We have a 4.0 FTE speech and language pathologist that we're still recruiting for, extensive support needs teacher. assistive technology specialist, 0.20 FTE, and then the behavior aid should have been on the other side. That should have been, please excuse the error there. The behavior aid is not part of the certificate unit. Going on to the classified unit. Come on now. Is it you? Okay, I got Haley over here messing with everything. Just kidding. All right, our current openings, by and large, on the classified side, is our medically fragile paraprofessional unit. In the transitions class, which is over at Independence High School, we have 4 openings that we're actively recruiting for. At Jackson Elementary, we have the single opening there. Pine Grove Pioneer, 1 opening. Pine Grove, 2 openings. The Pine Grove Pioneer is for a shared position between the 2 campuses. Pine Grove is 2 physical openings or openings at the campus. Stony Creek Preschool, 2 openings, and at Jackson Junior High School, 1 opening. And we're actively recruiting for those. We've got some applicants, and we're doing everything we can to get those folks onboarded. I shared our staffing cycle milestones before. We are in every bit of the fall 26, which is our start of school. We're doing new employee onboarding, assignment of mentors for any of our first or second year teachers, and then mandated trainings. And then we're going to repeat the cycle again come winter, spring, looking at our numbers for next year, any potential changes to programs as we start to look at what our staffing will be like for the next year. The thing that this through line does not have identified that is part of our everyday work is all those openings that are still there. We're still actively recruiting. We're conducting application screenings and inviting folks to come and interview with us. And so because some of these certificated openings were not able to be filled, I know that Dr. Hedegaard and her team are looking at contractors to support where necessary. One particular example is speech and language pathologists. We can't go without it, so we have to identify the services to support that. So, but the work continues. I appreciate the support of the board, and I'm available for any questions you might have.
Okay, go ahead. Questions or comments?
A question regarding slide 7, the current openings. If we do have this many medically fragile paraprofessional people in need of, is it our practice ever that if, for example, at other sites, maybe we are fully staffed, that we try to maybe perhaps temporarily move some people in order to meet the shortage over here, or that's just not how we?
I'm always going to make sure that I connect with Dr. Hedegaard, anything like that, but I will tell you that for programmatic reasons, some of that is just not feasible. When you have, one of the things that we're very well versed in is an understanding that some of our students have some very specific health needs and needs that if they're not there, it's going to be a chore to try to get some of those needs met. And so these are folks that I will say medically fragile paraprofessionals are some of our more skilled employees. They have received training in behavior. Many of them have gone through the behavior training, through CPI trainings for nonviolent and verbal de-escalation. And so this is important that as much as possible, we try to have some consistency in those programs. So as much as we would want to be able to, move some folks around to try to give a little more balance, we also know that it could be detrimental to our students. So the short answer, Mr. Gale, is typically we don't do that. It's probably a last resort if there was a true emergency.
Okay.
Dr. Hedegaard, did I get that appropriate?
Okay. Is this the type of thing, if it's such a high training thing, is this a job that any of our other aides are ever see? Is this like a promotion or any other aides ever attempting to move up in this direction, or totally different, totally unrelated?
We have seen some folks that have transitioned from the district side into the county side in a medically fragile paraprofessional. It is a job that I will tell you, Ms. Hatton is a perfect example of the type of folks that are drawn and have and truly an avocation to this work. It's not for everyone.
Right.
And so when we do have folks that have chosen to be in support of our students and working with our certificated staff, it's not a job that everyone that's not a job that everyone is trying to.
Striving to do, okay.
Yeah.
Difficult to fill, I understand.
Very difficult.
Thank you. I hope that our aggressive recruiting is successful.
Okay. Ken, any questions or comments?
2 questions. Following up on Peter, are we competitive with our pay for the medically fragile paraprofessional?
Competitive in what respect, Ken?
Other districts?
I would tell you that that was something I'd have to take a closer look at it. It's typical that we don't do a comparable as part of our work with looking at salaries or hourly rates. One of the things that we did look at this past year as part of our full package is all the things that we make available to staff that are working in those positions, from pay to benefits, and in that respect, we are comparable. But I'd have to take a closer look at what those, here's the challenge, and the reason why I'm not giving you a direct answer, but I'm gonna give you one now, is there are very few school districts that have positions like the medically fragile paraprofessional. There are some that come close, but there are very few that have these. It's not like a version 8 or version A across. So we have to look at the specific training, the things they're being asked to do. With some of our county offices, there is a pretty similar position, but what we've seen county to county, it becomes quite varied, because now you're looking at different counties, different areas, and different negotiating contracts, so.
And are we offering any type of bonus for sign-on with that position?
We don't have a bonus, but we do have some, I would say, for the medically fragile paraprofessionals, we do have some really good incentives for them as far as the RBT training that's part of the contract or part of their job description, as well as other salary opportunities for them. They're compensated when we look, and I do not do this, but I will do this in this particular instance. When we look at someone who's an instructional aide on the district side in special education compared to our medically fragile paraprofessionals, we're talking about two distinct roles. Medically fragile paraprofessionals have quite a bit more training, but they also have access to additional resources or incentives because of that additional training.
Okay. So not really an answer, but I understand why you're not able to. My next question's about slide 3. I appreciate the table. What I would like to see added in the future is a column, because the percentage column really doesn't mean anything to me. It's just a percentage of the 9. Can we get one that says something to the effect of still needed? Like we've hired 2 medically fragile paraprofessionals. We hired 2, but we still need 4 more, 5 more, 3 more. Just try
So
to get an idea.
essentially incorporating what's in this slide here, the current openings, onto that table. Is that what you're saying, Ken?
Correct, for each position.
Got you. I don't think that would be difficult at all.
Okay.
That way you can see almost a live roster, right? Here's the depth chart, here's what we got, here's what we need.
That would be perfect.
I got you.
I was just gonna say, maybe like, say you needed 5 on the medical fragile paraprofessional, you could have like a 2/5 to show that that's how many numbers out of the positions you have. That way save you a column, but, however you want to do it. The only question I have is, would it be possible to take a look at these special ed positions, and I don't know if you could go back a few years and show what the costs were for contracted versus what it would be to have a full-time employee. What I'm getting at is to show that the contract workers, how much of an impact that is to our costs. Okay.
There's significant contribution. That's something we can include potentially in the future. I'll work with Superintendent Critchfield on that. To add a little more detail to a question from Trustee Farrar, with respect to the medically fragile paraprofessionals, they're at salary level range 42 of the CSEA 827 salary schedule. And then all of our medically fragile aides who work in the extensive support needs program are awarded a $1,000 stipend as part of their work. And then the unit members who submit proof of a registered behavior technician certification receive a monthly stipend of 7% commensurate with their current step and column. So those are just a couple of enhancements we've done because we know that these are some core areas of support.
So what you're telling me is they start at step 42?
Yeah, they're at 42, so they're step 1 at 42, and they are the current salary schedule 26-27, which is on our website and available to everyone. Their starting rate at step 1, if no other pieces, is $23.55 per hour, and they top out at $33.64 an hour. So,
Thank you.
you got it.
Okay. I don't have any questions about the item. I I am grateful that we've been able to hire some of these particularly hard ones to hire. Deaf and hard of hearing is huge. Getting an actual in-house speech and language person is really a big deal as well. It is always, I don't want to say upsetting, but it is sometimes hard to look at the numbers when I know that we try super hard to fill them and they are difficult positions to fill, but I also know how much an unfilled position in these particular positions affect a classroom, affect a teacher, affect the rest of the class, and especially affect the student that isn't having their needs met because we have them unfilled. So I definitely want to try and emphasize with our negotiations and whatever we do with that is just to kind of keep that in the back of our mind when we're thinking about some of this stuff, is that they do have a huge impact on the classroom and the students that are in there. So that's just a thought in my head. This is just a discussion item, so there is no vote. Are there any other questions or discussion we want to have? Okay, thank you very much for the information. It's helpful.
Thank you, trustees.
Okay, we're gonna move on to item 13, our board policy updates.
These are the first reading of the ones that we first read last time. So, on the district side, no change, no difference.
Okay, questions, comments on these policies? Any? No? Okay, I don't either, so these are just a first reading, we're not gonna vote on them tonight, that'll be next meeting. Moving on into item 14, information only. We do have a comment card on this item, Patricia and Gija.
Good evening again, Patricia and Gija, mom of 2 Iona Elementary School students. I just wanted to say that I'm sad to see Miss Charity leaving Iona Elementary ELOP, but I'm happy to welcome Mr. Caden Hansen. Just wanted to give them shout outs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on our current personnel recommendations? Okay, with that, we will move into board reports. Mr. Critchfield?
Just want to thank all of our county employees for a successful start to the school year. We also had, I'll talk about this in the district meeting as well, but we had our district and county office kickoff at Amador High Monday that was very well attended, and thank you to Ken and Shane and Kayla for being there. Peter, I know you wanted to be there, but you were teaching, right? So he had messaged me that, and just appreciate all the staff coming out for that. It was great to see everyone get together. We kept it short and sweet as there's a lot of work to do to get ready for the school year so everybody could get back to their campuses and ready to go. So that's all I have.
Okay, Peter?
I just wanted to express appreciation for all of the people, both seen and unseen. I know that there's probably many staff members throughout the district who have spouses that try to help step up to organize classrooms or do all the logistical, heavy lifting that goes on to start the school year. And I think that that is truly a wonderful thing, that that's kind of the culture of education, that we strive to support each other and step up and make it happen. I, yes, unfortunately was teaching, couldn't come to the kickoff, but it seems like, and I did appreciate the update from earlier, Mr. Critchfield, in the email, that we have kicked off to a healthy start. And I think that's wonderful. Certainly it sets the tone for what's to come. So look forward to good things for the rest of the year.
Okay, Ken?
Just want to mention that, yeah, Monday morning was great over at Amador with the kickoff. It's fun to see everybody fresh and, looking forward to the school year. I really enjoyed seeing, we had the new hires stand up. And I, for one, can't believe how young some of them look. It's like, what? So very excited about the school year. I think good things are coming. I think we're really making strides moving forward on all the things we've wanted to work over the last couple of years. And I'm just looking forward to some progress to continue this year. Thank you.
Okay, Shane?
Just wanted to ride Ken's coattails on that. Enjoyed Monday morning's kickoff. It's good to see all the enthusiasm as this year starts, and I hope everyone has a good year, and we make strides, and not only for our students but also our teachers. I will add that I have been sharing information that's been presented to the board. I've been reposting it just as a refresher on the information that we're provided. So I just wanted to encourage anyone that may have any questions they feel free to reach out to me at my email or my phone number that's listed on the website. Thank you.
I apologize for my tardiness. I was taking care of some last minute things for a procedure I'm gonna have done on Friday, and I apologize I wasn't at the kickoff Monday because I was having an eye procedure done that day. Welcome back to school. It's great to see everybody, and from what I've heard from fellow board members and the community, it was a great kickoff. Social media always explains what's going on, their version, and so far it sounds pretty amazing, or not, depends on who you read. But welcome, let's keep going.
Yeah, a huge shout. I think that the kickoff was great. I loved the short and sweet idea, knowing being on the other side of that sometimes. I'm like, let's get a move on. I want to go work in my classroom. So, but I think it is also valuable though to come meet with everybody, say hi, and have a positive start to the year. So I did really appreciate that. I liked the upbeat of it. So welcome back, everybody. We are talking about the county meeting, so I will give a special shout out to all of our county employees that the first day of school can be extremely intense for some of our clientele that we are working with. And so just thank you for all of your patience, all of your hard work, and all the things that you guys are doing every day. That is a big undertaking. So with that, our next meeting is going to be August 26th, so a couple weeks from now, here at 5:30, and we are adjourned. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call to order the Amador County Unified School District meeting. All of our board members are present. Are there any public comments on closed session? Nope. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and move into closed session. We will be back at 7 o'clock to reconvene to open session. And reconvene to open session. We do not have anything to report out from closed session. Are there any deletions or corrections to the agenda?
There are not.
Okay, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, tonight we have something exciting. We are going to formally swear in our new student board member from Argonaut High School, Lauren Kiekefer. Oh, this says Argonaut. It's okay. From Amador High School. I'm so sorry. You can go to Amador. She will complete a one-year term as a student board member for Amador County Unified School District, and we look forward to having her voice on our team as we set policy and work to improve our schools. So Lauren, if you would like to go ahead and join me up here at the front. Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Amador County Unified School District Board meeting. Tonight we are pleased to officially welcome our new student board member, Lauren Kiekefer, who will represent the Amador student body. The role of student board member is vital to ensuring that our students' voices are heard in the decision-making process, and we are excited to have Lauren Kiekefer join us in this important capacity. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. As a student board member of the Amador County Unified School District, I will represent the students of this district to the best of my ability. I will work to improve our schools, to promote student engagement, and to ensure that every student's voice is heard. Okay, congratulations. You are now an official an Amador County Unified School District student board member. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna take just a few minutes to have a little reception for Lauren, and so there's cookies and drinks back here. Okay? Yeah. Did you make them though? No, okay.
No one asked, or we would have. Hey.
Like, I would have preferred
How was your
homemade.
son's first day? A little back and forth. Well, not to overshine it too crazy. It's such an amazing.
I'm happy that you had a great day. I was hoping that.
And so I shared it with already with Dr. Hediger. I talked with
Good. No, I'm
amazing
happy
first
for
day. Miss
that.
Crow sent us
Miss
pictures and
Crow's
everything.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Good.
So I knew it was gonna be fine either way.
Yes.
But she got some pictures. It was really, really cool. And he is loved it.
That's good. That's
Happens, you know. That's they're young at that age. We'll get it out of there. We'll get it out. It's okay.
how the rest of the week goes. But it was okay. We're gonna
Good.
work through it.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you? I'm getting a soda on that. JV and varsity because middle of the day, like, got a little toasty over there, but for the littles, some good little kids coming up in that program, man. The junior novice this year, they got some little mini fridges, bro. It's good to see. Like Moose on novice, they got a bunch of them on junior novice now. It's really cool to see. Yeah, I'm excited. Even the big guys, the boys, like that, dude. You guys got a good little squad coming along. Okay, I did not hear about that. It's going to be an interesting year for varsity because we got Oakdale in the league now, and their varsity went their JV went undefeated in SenCal last year. So they're the little eighth graders are going to have a little bit of challenge this year for sure. Yeah, hey, it's good. You ain't lying. I've been just focusing on Calaveras from a boy.
Probably, but I feel better about it now. Yeah, literally. No, I know, all the sugar and stuff, I know, because I like, that is my life. And it's really upsetting, but this will work. Okay. Yeah. We are going to. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to item 10, our presentations and recognitions. Tonight, we have our FCCLA students attended a national leadership conference. So Mr. Garcia is the FCCLA teacher at Argonaut High School, and he's going to present an update on the conference and the students who entered competitions.
We'll let the video play first.
Okay,
I
perfect.
was like really late. I had a bunch of stuff going on. You guys did it. And so I had to use AI to make sure that this was only a minute long. I have way more pictures and video for you guys. Mr. King's advanced class is going to get me a video together, and I will share it with Haley, and then it'll get to you guys. So you can see like the full picture, and then I'm going to talk a little bit. So. No, it's going to be empty. So, as I said, you guys know who I am, Mr. Garcia. Again, congratulations on your appointment. That's awesome. See, I have like 8 minutes left, bro. Look at that. You're stuck, man. We had a little joke going. I was like, I gotta like kind of not scare you away because I talk a lot. Anyways, it was absolutely amazing. These kids are just like I'm speechless when it comes to like trying to describe how amazing our students are. The amount of effort that they put into these competitions, networking with kids. The picture didn't make it in there, but you'll see it in the video. We got stuck with a delay coming home in Minneapolis, and everyone is tired and cranky, and the airport's full, and we're just sitting there minding our own business, and there's like 4 kids running around, and Georgie took it upon herself to pull all of her art supplies out, and she gave like an impromptu art lesson to these like 7-year-olds. It was beautiful. Like Miss Davidson's crying in the background. It was amazing. These little girls are learning stuff. It's like, look at you. Like, you could be a teacher, dude. Like, we might have to like pursue that a little bit more. But yeah, so I will have more information, more video, stuff like that. But it was absolutely amazing. So Georgie took 3rd place in the nation. And really, she probably could have took first. She got a little nervous during her speech, and she missed a couple little things. But I am like over the moon proud of that young woman for her just diligence and just really getting it done. Emma arguably had a tougher competition, as you've seen some of those dresses, and she found out she didn't make the top 10, and she wasn't upset. She was already planning on what she could do for next year to try to get back, because next year it's in San Antonio, and she's like, well, that's just time to start game planning. And before we left the conference center, she already had like new designs drawn out that she's gonna start working on this year. So I'm just really proud of those guys. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't thank all of you for your continued support, considering, again, how much I complain. It's really amazing that you guys can put that to the side and really make it happen for these kids. You guys didn't even blink. You just said, okay, book it. Cool. And that means a lot. It really does. And I'm really grateful. It goes a long ways for these kids to see that. Because at the end of the day, we could argue all we want, but when these kids see how much you guys really care about them, I mean, there's nothing's going to beat that, hands down. And so I'm just, what a privilege I have, and you have given me to be able to be a part of this and to try to make an impact on these students' lives. Next month, Georgie's doing more research. She wants to do a presentation to try to talk you guys into getting a fashion class going, but she refuses to do it until she has talked to students to get their interests and to see if she wants a very factual and informed presentation for you guys. And then she had a little pool accident, so I was like, we can't bring a cage fighter to the board meeting. She had black eye right now from swimming, and I was like, I'm not bringing a cage fighter. Like, they're gonna think we're like duking it out in the parking lot, seeing who gets to talk more. So she'll be back in October. And that's after club fair and everything, so she's able to like really give you guys a good picture of what she's thinking and just to kind of pitch you guys an idea. Looking ahead, we have a really great group of kids this year that are interested in FCCLA. I am the Region 4 coordinator for FCCLA this year because we have 2 region officers, Libby McGee and Dronell Rossini. And so we are just chugging away. We've planning out the fall meeting, spring competition. Probably closer to November, I'll be coming back here to ask you guys to see if any of you would like to come with us in February to help be guest judges, because we are going to need more judges for the competitions that are out there to help these kids get ready for state competition. So it would be great to have you. I understand if you're busy, but again, free food, stuff like that, like a good opportunity for you guys to see what it's all about. So I will bring that back up in the future, just so that way you guys have the opportunity. And then the only other thing that I wanted to kind of bring to your guys' attention as far as FCCLA, I would love, and I'll send an email to all of you to kind of get this started. I would love to start to get a junior high chapter going. They're able to go to these competitions. They have competitions set up just for the junior high level. I would be more than happy to be involved with that, to help get that started and to push for that, so that way we can have even more involvement in it. Because right now, as it sits, we have the potential for a national officer candidate in Dronell, because she's already made region officer and she's only a sophomore. So that could be a huge opportunity for even more kids in the future. And it's just really cool to see like 8th graders in like a full suit. Like, it's like the coolest little thing. You see them walking around, you're like, wait a minute, dude, you're trying to sell me something. Like, that's cool. So I would really like to do something like that in the future with our junior high, to start really getting them into it. And it's not just culinary, it's fashion, it's teaching, it's entrepreneurship, it's food innovation. There's so many aspects of it that I think it could touch so many people in our community and so many children, that it doesn't have to be just about food. So it was cool also today, first day of school, to be able to tell all the kids, like, hey, you don't have to just cook. Like, there are so many options for you. So with that, I will cut it short. Thank you guys. As always, I appreciate you guys Cool.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, next we're gonna move into our employee organizations. First up, we have ACTA and Mrs. Jensen.
Hello. Hi. It's the first day of school, and I'm a little beat. Getting the room ready, preparing not just a room, but a space for learning and the atmosphere for all the growth. The first day of school at Pioneer was pretty lovely. Nice to see you, Patty. One of the things I'd like to make you aware of, two things, is we're going to continue to work on the insurance. We received a nice letter from, no, not a nice letter, an informative letter from Mr. Norton, Mr. Norton. I'll give you a I'll give you a doctorate regarding the insurance changes, and we're going to continue to work as a team to deal with what we have before us and try to make the future something that we can afford. And then some of the exciting things, I believe, for Amador County in the state budget is the schools, community schools grant is being expanded, and the opportunities are being seen at a lower level. And it may be that some of our schools could qualify for the having to match grant funds for improving schools. And so I'm excited about continuing to explore that with the district office and helping our schools to have all the resources that are available through the state. With that, I can't say much more, and I didn't write anything, so thank you very much, and I hope we have a great year.
Thanks, Jeannie, you too. Okay, next up, we have CSEA, Mr. Baird. I don't see him. Okay, we will get him next time. We're gonna move on to public comments on non-agenda items. We do have a few speakers. Just a reminder that each speaker gets 3 minutes. Our first speaker tonight will be Patricia Angija.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patricia Angija. I'm the mom of 2 Ione Elementary School students. First, I want to say happy first day of school. Get this started on a positive note. Welcome, Lauren, new student board member, and congratulations to Claire on being first runner-up as rodeo queen. I want to give out a huge shout out to transportation. I know that there's a bit of buzz kind of negatively about the length of the bus rides. But honestly, these creative solutions with the budget we have, I understand why they're being made so that we can avoid, potential cancellations. So I do appreciate that. I've been seeing transportation get better and better year after year. A couple of years ago, it was cancellation after cancellation. So just the improvement in just a few short years has been nothing short of amazing. And then for the extracurricular transportation, I know that the dollar amount was a large figure that stunned a lot of people, but I do appreciate that is trying to lessen the reliance on the contracted transportation, and this really helps out with extracurriculars and sports in particular. Even though I have young kids, I foresee them being involved in a lot of extracurriculars and sports. My kids have already done soccer. They're going to be doing, my son is looking at baseball or potentially basketball. My daughter just did basketball. She loved it. She's now doing dance. And just having those opportunities for kids, getting them where they need to go outside of the classroom, it just makes them into well-rounded individuals that will, be very successful in their future adult lives. So I really do appreciate those solutions. I know it's never easy to make those decisions when it's such a large dollar amount, but I understand why they are needed. So thank you, and I hope we have a great school year. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Mike Garcia.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so I also have some thanks and gratitude. As most of you know, my son Grayson Garcia started at Jackson Elementary today. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, this is the first time probably in a long time that I had not a care in the world that he was going to school today. I wasn't worried about the teacher. I wasn't worried about supervision, anything. Because I had heard such amazing things about Mrs. Crow. And then I got to meet her and I was like, wow, this lady knows what she's doing. Like, this is amazing. Grayson loved her right away. And he also had some aides in there that he had known from when he had been in school before. So like, and I'm gonna try not to cry because I get really emotional. Wow. Like, speaking like to President Parker, like, you know better than most, like it's a tough gig. And thank you, all of you, because we all want the best for our kids. And man, he's got the best now. And so I couldn't be more grateful for that. I would also like to take a moment, because I think it would be very ridiculous of me if I didn't say thank you to each and every bus driver, Brandy, Shirley, Nanette, and there's others that I'm forgetting. Leanne, I mean, these people have been absolutely amazing to my kids. And I am forever in their debt. I mean, it's not easy sending your kid to school, let alone when your kid's different. And man, we have some amazing people that work here. And I will forever be grateful for that. And so I really needed to take a moment and to just thank the amazing people in my son's life that have gotten him to the point where he is. And none of that would have been possible without all of you, regardless of the issues we've had in the past. I am extremely grateful for everything that all of you have done. And then on an even more personal note, how lucky am I to even get to do this job? I got a message from my cousin. My family's from the ghetto. And I get a message out of the blue, and it's like, hey man, I just wanted to tell you I love you and I'm so proud of you. These people that I go hunting with, they happen to drop your name, and they knew you, and nothing but amazing. And who am I? I'm just a random dude from Amador County who's just trying his best. And thank you for the opportunity you've given me to change my life.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, next we have Sylvia Sorensen.
Good evening, board members, cabinets, Mr. Critchfield, and the amazing student board members. My name is Sylvia Sorensen. I'm a parent, and I'm with Moms for Liberty, Amador County Chapter Chair. I'm here tonight with particular concern for our youngest learners that I just would like to address, and for the academic results we're seeing on the California School Dashboard. According to the most recent dashboard results 2025, Amador County Unified students remain significantly below standard in both English, language arts, and mathematics. While there was a small movement in the right direction from the prior year, the movement was minimal, or the improvement was minimal. Students are still performing well below the California standard in both subjects. The dashboards I was researching for 2026 will come out in October, so in a few months, and then we can compare that as well. I'd like to point out that this is only a comparison to California. On the National Assessment of Education Progress from the nation's report card, California itself ranks in the lower half of states, which is roughly around 36th place. That means our students are not only behind in the state average, but even further behind in the national average. Research and evidence-based best practices consistently show that foundational skills like phonics, fine motors, development, attention, and oral language are developed best through real-world interactions, teacher-led instructions, guided practice, and immediate human feedback. Leaving young students on screens for extended periods does not replace that sequence. For kindergarten through second grade in particular, electronics use should be none to minimal. Teacher-led sessions using books, hands-on practice, and human feedback are far more effective at this stage than electronic interactions. When new digital programs are proposed, families deserve clear answers. For example, how many additional minutes of independent screen time will the average student experience each week, especially in the early grades? Or how will the district track and publicly report actual device usage? And what is the plan if dashboard performance does not improve? I'm asking the board to protect kindergarten through second grade from unnecessarily independent screen time, to prioritize teacher-led instructions in the foundational years, and to expect clear accountability for results. Thank you for your time and for considering these concerns carefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and next we have Kit Richard.
My name is Kit Richard, and I'm here on behalf of Michael Masuda, who's a local young man who went through Amador County Schools. And I'm a volunteer for him, and he's running for Congress in our California 5th District. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about him, and then at the end I'm going to invite you to a couple of town halls that he's holding. So the 5th District covers all or part of 12 counties, including all of Amador, and spans over 24,000 square miles, which is the size of West Virginia. Across this district, we are dealing with many issues ranging from wildfires, fire insurance, healthcare costs and access, struggling small businesses, and Main Street economies, a demand for good-paying jobs, and households that are struggling to make it in the face of rising costs. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. is more divided than ever. As they continue to bicker, these issues aren't being addressed, and it shows up here in our local communities. Many people, especially the younger generations, are losing faith in our democracy and our ability to address these issues. Michael went to San Luis Obispo. He was an engineer. He is a problem solver focused on bringing people together in a very divided time so that we can tackle the challenges that we have in common. Michael grew up here in this small town, and he spent nearly a decade as an electrical engineer working on defense research, developing new technologies to keep our troops safe from drones and missiles. He then became a foreign affairs officer at the State Department, where he used his engineering skills to inform leaders in science, technology, and foreign policy issues. He's running for Congress because he has 2 small children, a 4-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, and he wants to pass on a country that respects their rights, treats them fairly, and creates opportunities for them to work hard and build lives of their own. He believes that local problems require local solutions, led by local leaders, and that we need a partner in Congress to bring our voices to DC and bring our taxpayer dollars home. Our voices are important, which is why the Masuda for Congress campaign would like to invite you to join our upcoming town hall. We have one in West Point, which will be September 17th at 6 p.m. at the West Point Community Hall. And then a couple weeks later in Ione, September 30th at 6 p.m. at the Evelyn Bishop Hall. And these events are open to the public, and we welcome everyone to join the conversation. Regardless, he wants to represent everybody. He will also be doing some food and refreshments so that people won't show up for the meetings hangry, he says. He has a website that's got a lot more information about his positions and his background, and that's at votemasuda.com. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate all that you do. On a personal note, I'm a substitute teacher in your district. I've been working here. This will be my 5th year. So nice to see faces. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our consent agenda. We do have some public comments on here though. So So, let's see, we're gonna move on to our first one. Okay, so we'll just do them all in a row and then we'll move in. Okay, our first one is on topic 13.2A, warrants, Patricia and Gija.
Good evening again, Patricia Angija, mom of 2 Ione Elementary School students. I just wanted to follow up because I still haven't heard that this has been addressed or resolved about the service fees for AT&T, AWA, PG&E, and then also following up about contacting Sutter Creek and seeing why the sewer is just so much higher than other neighboring cities. Did you want me to continue on to the other items? Okay. So then 13.3B for curriculum. I heard Ms. Sorensen ask, and I've also been curious myself, and I know that a lot of community members are concerned about the balance between digital on-screen learning and, good old-fashioned pencil and paper. I know that all of the apps and software, it just kind of piles up like, oh, we get this new app and this new app, and eventually we'll have 25 apps and we forget that we have all these apps. So I understand that. I think maybe there just needs to be kind of a tracking and maybe a presentation on how much screen time kids are having in a day, watching videos or on Chromebooks. Because I know that community members' parents are concerned about, the different avenues of learning. Don't get me wrong, I grew up on the cusp between pencil and paper and technology, and I see the value in both. So like everything else in life, balance is always important. And then lastly, for 13.4A on the personnel recommendations, me and my kids were kind of sad to lose Miss Melanie. She was a very good bus driver for Ione, but we're happy to see Jerry is back with us. So I want to give him a shout out and Miss Melanie a shout out for being awesome for our kids. And then I want to welcome Mr. Sabah, our new principal at Ione Elementary. I'm really excited for all the wonderful things he will be doing for our school. And then I saw that Ione Junior welcomed a new nutrition service worker, Nancy DeFranco, and I just want to welcome everyone that's new to our district this year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And next we have Sylvia Sorensen.
Hello again. Thanks for the opportunity to let me speak again. Also, thanks, Patricia, for your common concern in regards to all the digital usage in the school district. As I previously shared with the board a few months ago when I presented the district's list of approved apps and vendors, Amador County Unified School District already maintains a very large inventory of digital tools. That list contains roughly 199 entries, which are on the website. Of those, 118 are fully approved and available for use. And majority of these tools are used directly by students. For examples, tools that students themselves log in, practice on, create with, or complete assignments through. 43 tools are waiting on originating. 10 tools are waiting on district internal review and approval. 9 more tools are waiting, outreach, and 7 more tools negotiation has already started. For a small rural district of about 4,000 students, this represents a high density of digital platforms. Many similar-sized rural districts maintain significantly tighter core lists. The reason for this information is that when adding more and more platforms, it increases the total number of tools students interact with. It expands ongoing cost and truly raises questions about oversight and prioritization. The concern here is that the continuous approval of additional platforms without public transparency clearly lacks the account of how the current inventory is being used or what is what it costs each year, and whether those expenditures are producing measurable academic improvements. When we invest in so many digital tools, families deserve to know whether that investment is aligned with results. I respectfully ask the board to request from staff a transparent summary that includes, first, the annual cost of the 118 completed digital platforms and licenses. Second, how these expenditures connect to academic outcomes. And last but most importantly, actual students' usage data across all grade levels. Technology can be valuable for secondary students. However, families are asking for intentionality, transparency, and accountability in how many digital tools we place in front of our students and our precious kids. Thank you for your time and for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move into our consent agenda. Do we have any questions or comments on consent? Claire, any questions? No. Okay. Lauren, any questions?
No.
Okay. Peter?
I do appreciate the inclusion of at least from a cost perspective, the different things like, say, turnitin.com or McGraw-Hill or these other sorts of digital tools. That is helpful. Yeah, it will be, well, how do I phrase this? It is of personal interest to I guess, learn what we're, as we've attempted and we discussed with our math adoption and things like that, to understand which things are perhaps no longer in use or how we're coming closer to teachers kind of being on the same page. So when it comes for that particular item, turnitin.com, for example, in my own school site, there are some teachers who avidly absolutely use it and other teachers who very much do not. So just curious in some of those aspects, because the cost for the product, certainly it's something, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. So just curious.
Okay. Ken?
I just have one question about the warrants. Looks like page 6, check number 600845505 for Parent Square for $35,000. Is that the whole payment for 3 years? So we won't have to make another payment until 29, or is that going to be is that one of 3?
That's a good question. My assumption is it's one of the years, but I will confirm that for you. We should have listed it on there, so I'm going to look at that afterwards.
So you'll get back to me on that?
I will definitely.
Okay.
Pretty certain it's only for 1 year.
I'm pretty certain it is too.
So then my next question, if it's one of 3, is it $35,000 a year for the next 3 years, or can it go up next year and then up again the following year?
Offhand, I'm not 100% certain on the details of that one, but I'd have to look into that detail too.
Okay, so if you would get back to me on both those questions, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Shane?
Don't mean to pile on, Robert. That's one of the items that could have the designation of annual or.
No, that's where I agree. That's where I kind of brought up we should have had that done. So that was an oversight there.
No pile on. Item 13.5, the Perry and Villarreal Legal Services Agreement. Could you just, I guess, give us some high-level notes? This is for special ed, and there is no overlap of services.
I'll give a brief explanation and let Dr. Hedegaard add to that. So Amy Perry, one of the named partners there, used to work for Lozano Smith and was a specialist in special education law and then started her own firm. And so since that time, I don't know how many years it's been, we've utilized that firm solely for special education law related issues, and we do not use Lozano Smith for special education law.
I don't have a lot to add, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, I think that covers it. I think it was mainly it was comments I received from the public, that just for clarification. Thank you.
James?
No, I don't have any questions or comments.
I don't have any questions or comments either. I did receive, actually I do have a comment, I should say. I did receive a couple of questions just about our curriculum and what we are using. And if I had a couple questions about, is it actually necessary? And so I just want to clarify that these things are being used by teachers currently. The CPM is a math curriculum, if I'm not mistaken.
It's our adopted math.
It's our adopted
curriculum at
math
the
curriculum.
Secondary level.
Right, and if we don't have this piece, we're probably gonna have angry math teachers, is that what I'm hearing? Okay, all right, just wanted to clarify. Okay,
Oh, sorry,
ahead.
and I was
No.
just want to actually add, we did get clarification on the Aries. It is the year one of the three, and it can go up by 5% a year.
Okay,
Thank you.
for Parent Square, okay. I don't have any other questions or comments, we would just need a motion for the item.
Make a motion that we approve item 13 consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, and our student board members don't vote on consent because it has personnel in it. Okay, Peter?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Shane?
Yes.
James?
Aye.
I'm also a yes.
So thank you. So with that approval, it's now official. So Jason Sabah was on the consent agenda. He's been working hard already as we brought him in. He's here in the back, standing there in the blue polo. And so I just want to welcome Mr. Sabah as our new principal of Ione Elementary School. Congratulations.
Yes, welcome, and yes. Okay, we are gonna go ahead and move to item 14, communications. 14.1, we have the grant awarded to the Hive.
Yeah, I'm going to have Patty take this one.
Okay, perfect.
So this is exciting. Whenever somebody reaches out and says, you guys should apply for a grant, especially if it's local, we want to pay attention to that. Stephanie Hess is our Director of Student Wellness. She was reached out to from the Jackson Rancheria Employee Community Grant Fund this summer. She applied and we received a $3,500 grant for all of the incidental things that happen to come up in our Family Resource Center that sometimes can't be covered by other grants. So grants are usually specific on how we can utilize the funding. Because this was a community grant, they gave them for the incidentals and the emergency and all of the things that sometimes we have to figure out how to do. They now have a little bit of breathing room. They have this money to use to fund, continue to fund, and I think all of you have been to the Hive to see the work that's done there.
Great, that's awesome, and thank you so much to the Rancheria employees for their contribution. Any questions or comments? It's just communication. Okay, perfect. We'll go ahead and move on to our action items. We have 15.1. We do have some public comment on these items first. So our first speaker is Patricia Angija. Actually, you're the only speaker, so you could talk about all your items. Right? Or no, just kidding, sorry. They're different items. Just kidding, just this one.
I was gonna do, read through the booking. So for 15.1 sub-salary schedule, I did see some community members comment about their concern that there seems to be no raise for the substitutes. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and move into the item. Any questions, or I guess I'll let Robert present. Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
Thank you, Board. So yes, tonight you'll see the substitute salary schedule. It is for the 2026-27 fiscal year. This is a requirement that we take this to the board annually. It's really any salary schedules. All the other ones have gone except for this one. So this is why this is here. It's for Ed Code compliance as well as CalPERS and CalSTRS requirements. And yeah, I think that's it. So there are no changes from the prior year other than the header overall. So I have available for any questions you have.
Okay, questions or comments? Claire? Nope. Lauren, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, Peter?
So please correct me if I'm wrong on this, but substitutes are not a represented group, right?
That is correct.
And so they don't necessarily have a contract. This is not tied in any way to the ACTA contract. There's no kind of formula connection of any kind. It's a separate thing, yes?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Ken? Shane?
The salary schedule, how does that compare to, is it standard or is it, how does it compare to like nearby districts?
From what I'm hearing next door, we're very competitive, but I'll have to look into that more to
Okay,
confirm.
thank you.
I would assume.
Okay, James?
I have a, I guess, help me understand this better question, because I remember during COVID, this was changed at one time and then changed back, correct?
Never actually changed back. It was.
So it's still the same?
No, it was pre-COVID, it looked different.
Yeah.
There were two rates. There was just a daily sub rate and then a long-term sub rate. And the long-term sub rate was hard to attain because I believe it was you had to work 25 consecutive school days. So you worked like 24 and then you don't get called in.
Wow.
Then you don't get that long-term sub rate. And so we, at the time, I was CBO and we worked a lot on this because subs were a hot commodity during COVID, right? And so we started looking at districts around us at the time, and it was common that districts had a tiered system. And so we increased the rate of pay pretty dramatically, and we created the three-tier system. It was a little bit higher during COVID. We were using COVID relief dollars, and then I think that's where you're thinking of it coming back down. But the coming back down is where it's at now is much higher than what it was pre-COVID, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And now there's no consecutive days requirement.
Right.
It's just once you work X number of days, then you move to the higher tier of pay and so on.
Was the decrease after COVID put at what it is now to be competitive in which Mr. Palazuelos just said we are?
At the time, but that was a few years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, at the time, we were fairly competitive. I don't want to say, I mean, we were, one of the districts I looked at was Elk Grove. They get brought up a lot because of their proximity.
Sure.
They're hard to compete with because of their size, right? But we were in the ballpark.
Nice.
When we were doing that during COVID, because, you know, one of the things we identified was, you know, it was like, well, we need more subs. And well, there's another way to get more substitute support. It's to incentivize our substitute teachers to work more days, right? It's both. You get more, you employ more substitutes, and then on top of that, incentivize substitutes to work more days. And so the tiered system has helped with that. It's motivated subs to work more days as their pay increases when they work more.
With the questions that Mr. Gale asked, without representation, this group of amazing superheroes, what is like the standard rule of thumb of looking into this to seeing if we're maintaining competitiveness? How often should one look at it? Or do we just be like, oh my gosh, we're getting a heck of complaints, let's look at it now?
Yeah, I think every few years is probably the best way to look at it. I mean, when it's an unrepresented group, and again, it becomes more of a exercise in what you would see in the private sector, where it's, are we competitive enough to attract employees for this? And then, you know, looking at what we pay our permanent employees and all those things are factors as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have much to compare it to, only what I did sub for a while before I got my credential and was working here. And so these are significantly higher than it was before. It was like 110 and like $50 or something.
I think it was 110.
It was 110 and it was 50 or 55 or something for a half day. And then you did have to work a certain number of days to even get to the long-term sub pay. And a lot of times they would have you work all those days and they would say, oh, we don't need you tomorrow. And then your time would start all over again. So you wouldn't get the long-term sub rate. So this is, I mean, I think there is value in definitely looking and making sure that we are being competitive, but this is highly favorable to what it used to be. So I am definitely glad to see that. Yeah. I do not have any other questions or comments. With that, we would just need a motion.
Move to approve item 15.1A, certificated substitute salary schedule.
Second.
Okay, and the vote, Peter?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Shane?
Yes.
James?
Aye.
I'm also a yes. Okay, moving on to item 15.2. Okay. We have the 2026-27 ACUSD School Board Professional Development Plan.
Yeah, so we had a nice discussion last board meeting, as you recall, going over the potential for a plan. So this was my attempt to put on paper what was expressed for student or for board member professional development during this school year. So just kind of run through the highlights here. It was working with each individual board member to see if they are available and willing to go to the CSBA annual conference. I do want to add a caveat to that. This occurred 2 years ago. Peter and Ken can both attest to that, that I do believe it's healthy to reach out to prospective board members as we are in election year to see if they are available for this conference. It comes at a very tricky time. The election is a month before, and 2 years ago, if I can use this as an example, Ken and Peter both expressed wanting to attend that conference as prospective board members, and we were able to hold a place for them until they were elected and they were able to attend that in their first year. And so when I say each board member may choose, in this year in particular, being an election year, I'm also including prospective board members. I just want to make sure that that's understood. We have recommended not going to the Coast to Coast Conference for CSBA, the Masters in Governance, what was expressed from the board at the time was, again, it would be each individual board member would choose how many of these they would accomplish in a year, if any. And then we would also work together, me with the board president and clerk, on then putting together 3 to 4 special board meetings of approximately 2 hours each on training topics at the will of the board through our Lozano-Smith guidance. And so if this is approved, then Haley would begin the process of following up with each board member individually for the annual conference and the Masters in Governance. And then I would work with board president and clerk on beginning to schedule the special board meetings and topics for those trainings.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments, or does this kind of fit what we had discussed at our last meeting? Peter?
I think this summarizes well, and I applaud the efforts to have some kind of a clear plan and direction to move forward. I would agree with some of the decisions that have been made in the past. I don't think it was necessary for us to attend, for example, the CSBA conference every single year, but refreshers and opportunities to collaborate on areas of perceived board growth, I think is worthwhile as a form of our, self-evaluation type thing.
Yeah.
Also think that the Lozano-Smith is, considering it's being trained for potentially all 5 board members at once, is extremely cost effective, and appreciate the collaboration that happened on our previous event, and I'm eager for those.
Okay, thank you. Ken?
Okay, a couple of questions in regards to what might have been budgeted for all this. For the CSBA annual conference, is that 1981, that includes the conference airfare and meals?
Yeah, that's the estimate based on what we know now for cost of flight, hotel, and everything that goes with it, yes.
Okay. And then the CSBA Masters in Governance, I was looking at this today. So that's $450 per module, and there's 9 modules, so it could be roughly $4,000 per board member, which could be $20,000. I'm just wondering if that is also something that Lorenzo Smith might be able to cover.
I mean, they will cover similar topics, but I mean, it is more of a self-directed course type learning process for individual board members. I mean, one thought, we didn't bring this up at the last board meeting, but one adjustment we could make is to cap the number of modules a board member does in a particular year. 9 would be very aggressive to get all 9 done in a year anyway. And so while that I guess technically is possible, I don't find it plausible. And so I think, Ken, to your point, maybe, one adjustment could be limiting to 2 or 3 or 4 would probably be more reasonable number per board member modules.
Okay, yeah, just as it's written here, it looks like that's for the whole course.
Okay.
So maybe just per module or
per
something.
participant per module.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Shane?
Don't mean to speak for the student board members. Did this CSBA conference have sessions for students.
It does.
Oh, okay, that's.
I would think that it'd be good to give them at least the opportunity to decide if
Yeah,
if
we've
they
had
would like to
student board members
attend.
attend in
Yeah,
the
that's, I
past.
think that's a great idea.
And I can have Haley work with Claire and Lauren on that as well to see if that's something that would work. They're both extremely busy, but
No,
if they can make it work, I agree, Shane. It's,
Yeah.
I think it's worthwhile. They do have a whole student board member arm of that conference.
I think it'd be good, and it'd just give them another layer of experience in serving.
And I think the way it's written, it still works. It just says each board member. So I think that could include each board member and student board member.
So you guys might be going somewhere. Thank
Okay.
you.
James?
As I've said before, I think the training that is provided for board members is extremely important. And I want to take advantage of that. I would like to take advantage of that. I also feel that the conferences and the trips are an important part of holding the seat and doing everything in our powers to communicate, network, advocate, all of the things for our little community and each of our districts. And I'm looking forward to taking advantage of all of these things.
Okay.
Okay, that's good feedback. I think that this is a good step forward. Like we had kind of talked about when we started developing this, I don't think that the board has actually ever done this, make a plan, a professional development plan. I think it's really valuable because as James said, the conferences, some of the trips, the trainings, and then the personal trainings, masters in governance, they are very different than Lozano Smith and board governance and legal training. It is definitely a much different kind of development, if you will. But I think that they all have their place, and so to have something kind of laid out and kind of show board members what they can do to kind of further their knowledge or see what we should be doing in essence is important. So if we don't have any other objections to this, we would just need a motion to approve the development plan for the year.
I move to approve item 15.2, 26-27 ACUSD School Board Professional Development Plan.
Second.
Okay, and the vote, Claire?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Shane?
Yes.
James?
One more clarification question. This is an annual thing that we'll be doing, correct? Yeah, okay. Aye.
Okay, and I'm also a yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our discussion items. We have 16.1, attendance review, 25-26. We do have a public comment. Patricia and Gija.
Good evening again, everyone. Patricia Angija, mom of 2 Ione Elementary School students. I went through the attendance review and I just want to say thank you for putting this together because I know that there have been a lot of questions based on transportation and certain days of the week and after break and things like that that go into people's concerns over attendance. So I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Patty?
Hi. Good evening. Can you hear me? We're a little tight over here, sorry. Before we get started, I do want to, for a point of clarification, just so that we can all be talking about the same thing, I want to draw your attention to the difference between enrollment and attendance. So when we're talking tonight, we're talking about attendance. Enrollment is the number of actual students who are enrolled actively in our system that are attending our classrooms. When we're talking tonight about attendance review, we're talking about the actual students in chairs and days they attended school. So I just want to make that clear because sometimes it gets a little convoluted between attendance. Are you talking about who can attend or when they attend? So this is about the when students are attending.
To go with that, as Patty and I were discussing this, one of the numbers that is a driving force is what's just referred to as ADA, average daily attendance. And that is a number that is the on any given day during that school year, you go through all your attendance data, the average number of students attended. So if your enrollment goes down, the average number of days attended might go down, but the percentage in which the students are going to school might go up. And so that's where this sometimes can be confusing. So there's a lot of data in here, and we just want to make sure if questions like that are coming up, there aren't bad questions in this, because we will speak using acronyms at times and try not to, but that's always a distinction we need to make on, sometimes when we say attendance is up, it might mean average daily attendance. There's more students attending every day on average. Sometimes that just may mean the percentage went up. Now we're a 91% attendance district versus a 90% attendance district. So
Perfect. All right. So this is a 3-year comparison, starting in the 23-24 school year, 24-25, and 25-26. EOY stands for end of year. So this is at the very end of the year when all the reporting is done. It's important to note on this one that between 23-24 and 24-25, we lost 181 students. And between 24-25 and 25-26, we had 80 fewer students total. And that this number, the average number of absences per student, represents the total number of absences in the district divided by the total number of active students or enrolled students. What's great about this and gives us reason to celebrate is that even though we had a total reduction of 261 students over those 3 years, the average number of absences or days of absences reduced by 1.53 days. So as we have put some effort into, and we'll get into this, really trying to boost our attendance, we are seeing a direct result. All right, this is the rate of change over the years from 24-25 to 25-26. We can see that our high schools are all doing amazing work. A lot of times we will look at the attendance at some of our schools as a component of the school culture. It's talked about a lot in the school attendance, the SARC, the School Accountability Report Card. And throughout the year, you'll see conversations around, well, attendance is tied to school culture. So I would be remiss if I didn't say well done to the 3 high schools, because a positive attendance like that can only speak to cultural work being done by the staffs. All right, this is the heat map. We've talked about the heat map. Personally, this is one of our favorite tools. As a cabinet, we love the heat map. So what we're aiming for are those green days. If you notice, there are certain times of year that the green days are more prevalent. I will point out a few things about this before we dig into this. If you want to know the highest day with the most attendance, most missed attendance, that would have been February 20th, and the number's so small you can't read it here. It was 946.5 absences that day. It's important to note right before that was 2 snow days. So interestingly enough, it's followed by the last day of school with 759. Just interesting data. Here's what we love most about this year's heat map. I've shown you this map before, and last year we actually identified here at the board that we had some patterns. We know February is going to be weather. We know that the beginning of the school year we start strong. What we noticed last year is every Monday coming out of a week off was a red day on our attendance calendar. There was a discussion we had. We went back and together with cabinet and then with our MLT, our multi-tiered systems of support leadership team, we concocted, and our principal group actually too, it was in a lot of meetings, we concocted a plan where we were going to focus on the days coming out of October break and out of the winter break. So that was October 20th and January 5th. Those were going to be attendance-focused days where the students, I believe I told you guys at one point about the come in for fresh cinnamon buns that day and then prize swag, school sweatshirts and spirit swag. If you'll notice, October 20th and January 5th are both green. So we went from red to green in our attendance. Interestingly enough, take a look at March 16th. We did not offer that incentive on March 16th, but we didn't slip back into red. We were in yellow. So for us, the data was pretty glaring that, putting a focus on it, creating some buzz around it's good to be in school and giving a little bit of a boost on that helped boost the attendance on those days. We were happy to see that. Again, we know there's certain things we can't control. February, our biggest one is always going to be weather. Well, I heard there might be a new toboggan run, but we'll let that go. So the average equivalent days missed by school. This is an interesting data fact, and I'd be lying if I told you I cannot figure out what's going on at Pioneer. Why, I don't know. But across the board, except for Pioneer, Friday is our most missed day. For whatever reason, and having lived there, Jeannie, I cannot tell you why Tuesday is at Pioneer. There is no rhyme or reason. And why Pioneer has no issue on Friday, I don't know. But interestingly enough, we can see that our high schoolers have strong Mondays. So that they're coming to school on Monday. I would not have laid money on any of what's on this. This one was a surprise to me. But by far, Friday is the day that most everybody except Mighty Pioneer is missing. I don't know what to do with that slide.
Help me understand on that one, are the bigger numbers better or smaller numbers better?
For this, it's the days missed, so smaller
Smaller numbers are better, okay.
Yeah. All right. This one is the one that always is kind of an eye-opener for us. I think everyone always wants to search for answers, but by far, the number one reason our students miss school is illness, followed by unexcused. When you look at the other pieces of the pie, doctors are excused with a doctor's note. Other unexcused and verified means it was verified by a parent where they were, but it's considered unexcused under the guidelines from the state. There's only certain excused absences. So the one that's kind of a purple piece, the 4.7% other excused, that would be transportation related. That's where that would fall. So when we're looking at that, we also know that even though transportation has been a challenge, we are super excited by our new plan to not cancel bus routes and think that we'll see that reduced. But by far our most and will probably always be illness.
Patty, can you remind me, other excused, is that only for bus cancellations, or could there be other reasons in the other excused?
There could be other reasons.
Okay.
But that code itself is considered other excused.
Okay.
All right.
Ms. Patty,
Yeah.
is it fair to say, because you said this purple is at 4.7, as a community member, seeing all the text messages and all the hype, I would think that that purple should be the, I don't know if that's a purple or, like you would think it would be half that circle.
Correct.
But we're seeing it's not.
Correct.
Okay.
And James, I don't know if you remember, when we started bus cancellations, we made a particular attendance code so we could track that data specifically.
Yep.
I believe you asked us to. And
I don't remember, but I'll say, sure, that was me.
yeah, that was you. It's brilliant.
Absolutely.
We have an
Stand by for more.
Go you. We have an attendance code that tracks specifically, it was when a parent calls in and it was the student missed school because the bus route was canceled. We have
Staff
those.
verifies that the bus route was canceled,
And
right?
staff verifies that the bus route was canceled. we were able to pinpoint that data in order to come up with this metric.
Okay.
So while it's still significant and we worry about the bus cancellations, I think it is noteworthy to show that it is not a large number
Yes.
that has impacted attendance when
Yes.
bus cancellations occur.
I'm gonna be real. I was waiting for it to be half or more.
I know.
Like, for real. So that's good to see. Thank you for showing that.
You're welcome.
A quick question.
Yes.
So in regards to an excused absence, do we still get paid the ADA money for that day with an, no? So it's, okay.
No, the excused versus unexcused just is designation for the SARB process.
Okay.
All right, here's our summary to date. I know there's a lot of information on this slide. So 37.6% or 1,460 of our students fall in the excellent and satisfactory group. So anything, remember when we talk about chronic absenteeism, it's 10% or more, missing 10% or more. And what we did on this slide is we broke down what does that equate to in days. So to be excellent, you missed less than 1.8 days. Satisfactory, you're missing 1.8 to 8.9 days. Anything above 8.9, although 8.9 to 17.8 is considered manageable, that's not part of that 37%. When we get into chronic, which is those missing 17.8 to 35.6 days, and then anything above 35.6 days is severe chronic. And that's how we're breaking out across the district right now. All right, this is our year to year. This is one of the things that I was excited to bring to you tonight. If you notice, we had a jump in excellent, we had a jump in satisfactory, we maintained manageable, and we reduced our chronic absenteeism by 5%, which is huge, absolutely huge. And absolutely, I mean, this is the slide that I always love to show Robert because he gets really excited because we always talk about how we get paid as students attending school, whether or not we agree with it or not. And it's nice to see the efforts of really concentrating on that. Part of the data that I'm sharing with you too was you asked, how is that digital campaign working? So we're going to talk right now. When we're looking at this, yes.
Can we go back to that last slide?
Sure.
So under chronic, it says 8.9 to 17.8. That's wrong, correct?
Oh, yeah, that is wrong. That's, should be 17.8 plus and beyond.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it looks like I just miscopied that one over.
Yeah, so they had 18 absences or more than 18 absences in the school year.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you. I look at it so many times. One of these days, I'm gonna get it all the way right. I swear, one of these days.
My bad. I didn't mean to call you.
No, you're totally fine. I look at it so many times, it goes wonky on me. Awesome. All right, so on the left side, you see that number 6,403? That is the actual letters that are printed and sent home. So when we're talking about parent communication and engagement on this, I want to draw your attention to that's the letters. So that 50.
Can I pause you? I'm sorry. I just, before I forget this, we talk about actual, this is physical mail being sent, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I have been talked to, I'll put it nicely, by so many people about the letters. Is this a legal requirement we must send a letter to a certain extent about actual, like, for attendance? Yes.
Yes.
It's about truancy, so we are required to send a paper letter.
Yes. Would you like me to look up the ed code for you?
Nope, I don't need the ed code. I just want to clarify that we're not just like printing paper because it's fun. It is an actual legal requirement to send you a letter at your house.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question.
Yes.
That letter couldn't be switched with an email or a phone call?
So that's interesting because email is part of our digital campaign and we are actually using email and I have all the matrix on that. But legally right now, ed code still calls out letter delivered.
Snail mail, okay.
Yeah.
And we do plenty of emails, you can see on this message as well. It's 14,184 digital communications.
Yeah, so we had that 58% save rate. What that refers to is overall, every time that we print a letter, then if we don't have to print the next letter, that's the save rate. That's what it's referring to. So if you look at the first truancy notification, when we print those, then the second, so going down in that second time we do 796, and then the third letter we get down to 295. So we don't have to do as many. The first EEA is excessive excused absences. Those letters are also sent. They may have been excused, and Ken, this may kind of go with your question. Those excused absences are still absences. And so we print those letters and then send them out, and then usually you can see dramatic drop in the second letters. And then tardy letters, you can see the drop from first to second. And then our chronic notifications, usually by the time someone's receiving a chronic notification, we're in a SARB situation. They will have had a SART meeting. SART stands for Student Attendance Review Team, and it's usually the principal and the attendance clerk who's reaching out to the parents, and they're drafting a plan. That's first step one. Once they start showing signs of chronic absenteeism, we try to work with them to make a plan and start having those conversations so we can avoid going the SARB route.
I'm sorry, how have we considered or determined what number is or are human error? Does that make sense? In regards to recording the absences?
Oh, like the absence was recorded inadvertently?
Or accidentally, if that's what, yes. Because I know that there's been many times of parents talking to me about that letter and about how apparently their student is 18, but individual circumstances with individual students, just it didn't happen correctly. So now little Billy has so many absences and they shouldn't really be there because can adults call themselves in or out, excuse me? But they're still absent, but they're excused or unexcused, correct?
Correct.
Right.
And if they're,
18-year-old, I have a lot of experience.
I was just gonna say, I'm deferring to
hoping
Mr.
somebody's gonna
Litchfield.
catch what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes, so an 18-year-old student can sign themselves out of school now that they're an adult. It is no longer a legal obligation that they attend school. However, one of the ways we have utilized this through the years, and when I was a principal and a teacher utilized this, we do have a board policy that addresses if you have excessive absences, your grades can be lowered.
Right.
And so that is something that senioritis is a real thing. It is very, very real. And so that is sometimes the conversation that needs to be had with seniors is they're signing themselves out because they can, but these excessive absences, typically they're not going to do as well in school anyway because they're missing. And then their grade can actually be lowered if they get to a certain number of absences.
So the answer to my question of human mistake or
Yeah, so
because they felt
there can always be,
Jimmy's lying.
human errors are attendance clerks. If you've ever been in the office by an attendance clerk, especially at the beginning of a school day, I mean, it's just a nonstop phone call. They're dealing with a million things. Little mistakes happen all the time. Every month, we do a review of attendance. When notifications go to parents, they can go back and correct any errors that may have been made in the system to make it right. So overall, I think we get to a very high level of accuracy, but of course, there can be mistakes made on recordings of absences.
Okay.
Did that answer you?
Okay. No, but I understand. Thank you.
Are you asking if we know how many mistakes we make in a year?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what I'm asking now.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Okay. I will tell you, as a site principal, one of the things I did I'd love to tell you I did it weekly, more like bi-weekly or monthly, was review attendance with my attendance clerk, because all of these letters that go out come from the site principal. So usually the attendance clerk and the principal sit down and they go through all the letters and we decide which ones really need to go out. So at that point, we have a second set of eyes. So that human error potential gets reduced at that point. Because I would sit and talk to my clerk and say, oh, what's going on with James? I see he's, oh, was he really out that many times? Hold on, let's go back and look. Oh, and we can catch a lot of things doing that. And a lot of times we do, we have the ability as principals to suppress letters and not send them. If we happen to know there's a family situation going on at that point, we can continue to watch and support a family and suppress that letter and see if whatever other interventions can help change the attendance behavior.
Yeah, we don't want to use a letter to pour salt in the wound if there's
Right,
a real
yeah.
scenario going on.
That explanation better helps me better understand. Thank you.
You're welcome. And to be honest, as a teacher, I was the one whose phone almost always rang about 20 minutes after school started. And the minute the phone rang, I went, oh, I forgot to take attendance, because I knew it was the attendance clerk. So there is a human error piece, but, and I hate admitting to that, because some of my former teachers are like, you used to yell at me for that. No. But if you do look on the right, we did send 14,184 digital communications. Of those, 10,000 were positive communications. So you asked last time, could I put together some metrics? Is that digital campaign that we used for the last year working? And we do have some metrics for you on that. But before we jump into that, I want to talk about this slide specifically. And I really want to shout out our SARB coordinator for the district is John Hawley. John was instrumental in getting that code that we just talked about so that you guys would be able to actually see what is attributed to transportation. He worked directly with the company School Status, and he works very well with our DA. It's interesting to note we're one of the few counties where the district attorney continues to prosecute SARB. And so I think a lot of what happens is a combination of the work being done in the schools, the work being done through the digital campaign, and our partnership with the DA's office. And that's fully because we have a SARB coordinator who works so closely. But this is one of the slides that I really want you to understand the importance of this. As principals, we're asked to do conferences. And I told you the acronym we use is SART. Those conferences, a lot of times for me, were over the phone. That was the easiest, fastest way to get to a parent. But when we see, this slide shows you what happens when you see somebody who's in what we would show a chronic kind of behavior with attendance. So they would take, these are our actual numbers. So they took 178 days because they took off the 2 snow days. That's why it looks less. And in 6-week periods, they followed 192 students who are starting to show chronic behavior. That yellow bar says that's when the principals held the conference, the SART conference. And then they tracked them for the 6 weeks following the SART conference. And it's interesting to note that even though the digital campaign is giving us positive feedback, this personal one-on-one, the principal calling and talking with families is making a huge difference. And that hasn't changed. That's been a policy predates me. So Jared, I don't know.
But even, Patty, the week prior to the conference, because typically they know the conference is about to occur, attendance improves. Even with the conference pending, right? That alone provides more motivation to come. And then that, obviously the best week is the week right after the conference occurs.
Right.
It's interesting.
So this is kind of a human behavior graph, right? Yeah. The accountability piece. But of the millions of things site principals do every day, connecting with families over their students' attendance, one of the slides I had to reduce. I had a whole lot of data in here. It was beefy. It was 27 slides when I started, so you're welcome. But one of it was the average amount of time, school hours missed for chronic attendance, students who are chronically absent. And it's earth shaking to look at it. They miss almost half a year of learning when you're chronically absent. So this is super important. This is where our principals are actually continuing to make the biggest impact, in my opinion, on our attendance. All right. So 93% of our enrolled students were reached. Why, you ask, is that not 100%? Well, sometimes the data we have in Aries isn't always correct. And we'll see that we have 98% positive results when it comes to emails. But what's interesting to note about this is that of our entire attendance, 3,728 guardians received at least one message in 25-26. And these are the digital, either text or email. This is not the letters. So this is the campaign that it's roughly a little more than $2 a student for us to do the digital campaign. You'll notice across the bottom, those are the months of the year. Again, February, we have the most outreach in February. November, February, and March, those are those hot button, when you look at our heat map, those are the times when we struggle the most. So the attendance, the digital campaign ramps up to help try to encourage people. So we have 5 different possible digital campaigns. We have the 95% attendance rate. That's a positive campaign saying your student has more than 95, yay you, go, go, go. Curbing chronic is the warning, like your student is starting to look like they're presenting chronic. K3 is more of an informational campaign that talks more about the importance of those early years and having the students there. Beat the Average is that one that we talked about. If you ever had SMUD, I know I used to have SMUD a million years ago, and they had this is how much energy you've used, this is how much your neighbor has. That's Beat the Average. And then the attendance improvement, again, is you're in danger, this needs to improve. So by far our most is the positive 95% or better. Here are the number of emails sent and the number of emails delivered for all of the campaigns. Our delivery rate is around 98%, which was interesting when School Status met with Principal Holly and I. They said, that means you have really great data. So that digital data confirmation that we're actually working on and pushing right now, that's why it's so important. Those are the number of text message sent. Interesting to note, the carriers will not give us the data on text delivered, so we can only measure by sent. There's an interesting workaround that we can also measure if they clicked through the text into the portal, and we have some interesting data on that. So email reaches 98% and 54% of them get opened. It's not our most efficient way.
I just want to chime in because I've worked in email marketing stuff before, and 54% would be amazing. So that's a huge
That's what they told me.
It's usually like 3-4%
They're like
for
54%
emails.
is great, and I'm like, it is. However, when parents act on open the email, that's 314 times. 2,763 times parents clicked on the link in a text and went into the portal to learn more about their students' attendance. So what we were able to ascertain is text is reaching more. The emails are out there, and thank you, Mr. Norton. They tried to tell me at School Status 54 was great, and I was like, it's still an F. I can't. 54 is not great. And they're like, that's really good if 54% are opening. And I'm not even going to put anybody on the spot because I know I have some parents and they probably are looking at me going, yeah, I don't open those. I know. So what it really means, almost every student's family received at least one message, and for the vast majority, those were positive messages. Email delivery and clicks are trackable. Text delivery and open rates are not captured but we can say the sent volume and then the click-through. And the clicks, I just wanted to remind you, refers to them entering that parent portal afterwards to view the additional information. But here's our big wins. In the years since adding the digital campaign to the principal conferencing, we've seen a reduction in the average number of absences per student by 1.53 days, and a reduction in chronic absenteeism by approximately 5%. So, it's good stuff. Any questions?
Is there a way to know approximately how much extra ADA funding then we were to receive from that? I'm just saying, because I mean, like a dollar amount to that.
1% of attendance was what, around 400 and something thousand dollars in revenue? District-wide, I believe, the last time we looked at
So
it.
1%
We'd have to
is
look-
400,000.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the numbers, but it's in that realm.
I know.
So 5%'s like a couple million dollars?
5% is 5% reduction in chronic absenteeism. but
Okay,
the
okay.
1.53 days, right?
So what we figured out is each day a student attends, they generate roughly $72 of ADA on average.
Okay. Great. Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Or you're not done? Sorry.
I'm all done.
Okay, just want to make sure I wasn't.
No, I
cutting you
took
off.
the 27 other
Okay.
slides out.
Okay.
It was a lot of data.
Okay, questions, comments? Claire?
How do you like keep track of all the letters you sent?
So we have a system, we work with a company called School Status, used to be called A2A. And it's through that portal that all letters are sent out and kept track. And so when you call in, if a parent calls in and does the attendance line, when the clerk listens to the message, they enter it in there. That's how the teachers take roll too. It's all in one system. So a system tracks all that for us.
Cool.
Okay, Lauren? Lauren?
I just wanted to say, I'm gonna try and tell ASB about on the day back after like a holiday, trying to have some fun incentives, so I'll let them know about some of that data.
Yeah, perfect.
That's great. We actually are happy to help you with that too. Mr. Pingree and Food Services, we're doing the hot cinnamon rolls last year. And I would get out of bed for a hot cinnamon roll.
Okay, Peter?
Or perhaps some incentives on Fridays, I don't know what, but something. I don't know if, I mean, in the slide that has the positive campaigns, I think that's wonderful, that there are so many people that we are celebrating the 95% attendance rate, that's phenomenal. Do we do any kind of a ceremonial, here's a certificate, you're on 100% attendance, or you're above that 95, is there any things like that that's a tangible something that students receive for being the good ones?
Interesting. I would be lying if I told you this wasn't the hottest issue I dealt with as a principal of an elementary school for multiple years, especially prior to COVID. After COVID, it kind of died down. Each school does things a little bit differently. That's an autonomy piece. We leave up to each school community. But I can tell you, as somebody who was an administrator through the COVID years, we very much kind of turned away from that because we didn't want kids coming to school sick, and we didn't want to celebrate coming to school sick, because then we had to turn around and we couldn't celebrate attendance because there were kids who couldn't come to school and they were not allowed to come to school. So it kind of threw a monkey wrench in all of those traditional things. Not to say it shouldn't be celebrated, but I think by far the reason this digital campaign was appealing to me as a former site administrator was it celebrates individually those things. Like it can go on the fridge because it goes home. It can be mailed home, as well as.
So it's something cute and fridge-worthy that parents are getting? It's that good?
There's cuteness in it, but
Okay.
I don't know how much the high schoolers like the.
All right.
It's nothing extravagant, but it is something if you really wanted to print it out and be like, yay, good job, you could. I mean.
Okay.
Ken?
Yeah, so no questions, just a big thank you to you and your team for putting this together, because it was really some good information, and I hope to see this moving forward, so thank you.
Okay. Shane?
Some of our numbers that one that showed the 3-year bars.
This one?
Yeah, there was, I'm not sure if it was this one. It had the attendance.
I think it was near the beginning.
Maybe, yeah, maybe it was the,
That one?
yeah, the enrollment one. Just curious, the trends, do we have any data on what the trend is for next year for our enrollment?
Yeah, so the plan right now, because you can see, right, that, this 3-year sample of declining enrollment is to do an enrollment update to the board at the September 16th board meeting. This time of year is, I'll use the word, tracking enrollment is chaotic right now. The inflows and outflows of enrollment, especially the first couple weeks of the school year, can sometimes be pretty wild swings. We tend to settle down after Labor Day. So that September 16th board meeting, we'll do a presentation and look at this year in September and then the last 4 Septembers. So you'll have that comparative data. And that will be, just like Patty talked about at the beginning, that will be an enrollment presentation, not an attendance presentation, so we can distinguish between the two. But yeah, the trend is that we have been declining enrollment, not severely, but enough to pay attention to it.
Well, I go back to our last meeting when we had Mr. Rooney give that presentation.
Correct.
And, there's been discussion in the public about housing developments and timelines, and if it was something that happened soon, well, yeah, that'd be a major impact. But if it's something spread out over, what do you say, 30
years,
30-some years, then that's a little different. So just something that triggered my.
Absolutely. Those are things we have to pay close attention to.
Thank you.
Okay, James?
Thank you for this. It helps me understand it a lot better. And I like the, what'd you call it, the heat map or the heat calendar?
The heat map.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because as a parent and a board member, when Wednesdays were started, everybody thought Wednesday would or should be that red day all throughout this. And it clearly, correct me if I'm wrong, shows that it is not. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think that this was actually a really valuable presentation. I think that a lot of times things are said and it might seem like, yeah, that common sense, that could be true. Like, of course, if you're canceling bus routes, wouldn't that equate to children not making it to school? Or if you have a shortened day and parents can't have after-school care, that they're just gonna stay home from school, all these things. So I think that this was valuable to see that the cancellations are not a good idea, but they're also not, we're not having hundreds of absences from them. And the same thing with the Wednesdays, that the benefits probably outweigh the negatives when it comes to collaboration and the teacher time and those kind of things. So I think that this was definitely important, and also for us to be able to see like where we can improve. Yeah, February is kind of bleak, May too.
Yeah, so it's interesting, Kayla, to that point, part of this does feel like an exercise in human behavior at times when you start tracking attendance. And, the whole concept of Friday fatigue is confirmed by this data. February was a rough month weather-wise. And so that's one thing typically we can track here. Sometimes we've had early snow. December can be a really rough month if there's a lot of snow. This past school year, February was our roughest month when it comes to weather, right? And so that makes sense. Again, looking at ways to keep motivation going through the latter part of the school year. Notice April, May, and June, there is one green day on the calendar, right? A lot of yellow in April, not a ton of red, mostly Fridays, Tuesdays there was a Monday off and something going on in Pioneer, as we said, on Tuesdays. And then just that as we do not end the school year well, right? I mean, look at that. And so again, working with principals and others to figure out ways to keep that motivation going, as you can see just the stark number of green days to start the school year, right? And then the green days really start to become few and far between as we progress throughout the school year, and that's something we really need to pay close attention to.
With
Okay.
your, with
go
your
ahead.
permission, I'd love to do a little brag.
Yeah.
Amador County, the company that Claire asked about, who helps us manage our attendance and meets with the SARB coordinator and myself every year, reached out and asked if we would be willing to be part of a nationwide case study because of our improvement in attendance this year.
Wow. Okay,
So
that's
our
awesome.
data is going to be shared nationwide because of our improvement.
Okay, that's good news, great. Okay, any other, this is just a discussion item, so any other questions or comments on our report? Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and move on to item 16.2. We have start of school human resources update. We do have a public comment on this item, Patricia and Gija.
Good evening again, Patricia Andija, mom of 2 Ione Elementary School students. I just, again, wanted to follow up if there's been any consideration of adding vice principals at elementary school sites. As discussed previously, Jackson Elementary lost their principal last year, Katrina Ramos, and then we recently lost Mr. Huss at Ione Elementary, and given the national average of pupils to principals, it seems like a vice principal at the elementary school sites could do a lot of good to help with behaviors, and then having their attention to IEPs, and then of course their staff that depend on them not be so divided as it is now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Palazuelos?
Good evening, trustees. Just wanted to share that Green Day always played some good music. Green Day needs to be
I
the,
heard myself when I said it, Adrian.
I was very happy to hear Green Day. All right, folks, thank you, trustees. This is very similar to the report on the County Office of Education side. This is for the County Unified School District side. We are in. 32 new staff members are onboarded on the district side. Here is our heat map. I'm kidding, it's just a table. Here's our table of our hires. You can see at the top, you see the nutrition services staff, and then kind of rolling down, you can see that we've got ones in a lot of different areas, and then we jump into our teachers. We have mild mod teachers, we hired 4. Art teachers, we hired 2, and that's at the elementary level. Single subject teachers, a total of 7, and elementary teachers at 10. So pretty good number there. Our principal that you met tonight, Mr. Jason Sava. And then we also hired a psychologist. Our psychologists are actually on the certificated management. You'll see a little later in the presentation that I have that number reflected there.
Adrian, can you highlight those 2 art teachers with Prop 28, just so people understand?
Yeah, well, I got the little laser right here. Art teacher. We're very fortunate. I highlighted it there, but I think it's very fortunate and very important to point out that we have 2 elementary itinerant art teachers that are gonna be working at the elementary sites. This was a team decision that came forward with the work of Patty and our elementary principals and Jared's leadership to be able to hire these folks to come in and provide art-specific work for our elementary schools. And so we have Stephanie Strong and Eva Modesti that we've hired and are with us, and we're really excited to have them. And their role, they're going to the different schools, elementary, working with our principals, setting up a schedule, to be able to provide art instruction for students. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Thank you, Jared. Anything else on that one, folks? Trustees, any questions on this slide?
No, I'm good.
All right, on the certificated side, our current openings for 26-27, you can see that we have mild moderate teacher, we still have 4 openings. I try to use some acronyms there, just so you as trustees can see that we're still looking for someone at Jackson Elementary, Amador High School, Plymouth Elementary School, and Sutter Creek Elementary. At Amador, we also have an opening for a mathematics teacher that we're currently it's advertised and we're recruiting for. A PE teacher, 1 opening at Ione Junior High School. Elementary teacher, we're still looking at 2 openings, 1 at Ione Elementary, and then the elementary teachers for the 6th grade over at Ione Junior. Band music, we have 1 opening that we're still working to try to fill, and then an English teacher over at Amador High School. So, and all these are positions that are currently advertised, and
I think it's English. Is it English at Argonaut or Amador?
Oh, you know what, Jared? There is English at Amador and at Argonaut.
Yeah, I think there's one.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. We have a posting for English at Amador and Argonaut. Things change really quickly in human resources, so thank you, Superintendent Chris.
Argonaut one's technically filled. It's just about
Correct.
replacing someone.
Yeah, we had someone that notified us of an interest in leaving the district, and so as part of that process, we advertised a position. They're still employed by us until we find a qualified candidate or credentialed candidate for that position. So, all right, on the classified side, you can see their openings: bus drivers, 4 openings; car van drivers, 1 opening. Got to tell you, really important to share, and it's something that's come up already in the last presentation. The importance of what leadership can do for an organization. And thanks to Jared and the work that Sarah Lemke is doing over in transportation, an announcement was put out to all families that we are not canceling routes. So they are making it work. They're doing what they need to do to make sure that we can get students to and from school each day, even if it means they might get there a bit late. So, but we still have the openings there, and that's what's advertised. We have a bilingual instructional aid, 1 opening there, instructional aid for special education, 2. That behavior aid that was on the last presentation, this is where they belonged. And then the TKK instructional aid, we had a total of 2 openings that we're still advertising. And then this is a recent posting for a food service driver warehouse person. And then I talked about this a bit ago. We had our school psychologist and our principal at Ione Elementary that are 2 new managers. Our school psychologists are under the management salary schedule and unrepresented. We are in fall 26. A lot of good work happening. We're right now, one of the things that I'm leading, and it's very important for us, is for our 1st and 2nd year teachers, is induction. And I'm now working directly with Ed Services on getting our pairings together for our 1st and 2nd year teachers with mentors within the district. That's one of the important things for them to do as part of getting to the point where they can clear their credentials in the state of California. And then winter will be here before we know it, and we'll start this process all over again. But really excited about the work that's happening. There's definitely a buzz. We're getting a lot of folks that are calling. They're looking at our applications, and as much as possible, we're doing our best to try to get these folks in. So appreciate the opportunity to share this information. If you have any questions, I'm available for them now.
Okay, questions or comments about staffing? Anybody? Either our student board members? Okay, Peter? Oh, sorry, Claire, go ahead.
Are you able to like hire somebody in the middle of the school year to like take on one of these positions, or do you have to wait until the next school year comes?
Claire, great question. So one of the things that happens for any of our positions that are open and we're advertising, if we have a qualified candidate that comes in, we can hire them essentially at any point of the year. Ideally, we want to try to get them in the fall because then they're ready for our support of our students. But there have been a number of occasions where someone has come in mid-year or even mid-semester and we're able to hire them. They've got their credentialing, we can bring them in.
Thank you.
Great question.
Lauren?
I was just gonna say the art program for the elementary schoolers, I think that's really awesome, and I would have loved that at that age. And I was hoping, just suggesting for Amador to get hopefully more of an art program, because I know this year I wasn't able to take Art 4 because it wasn't offered, so just getting maybe some more fine arts or traditional arts would be really amazing.
Okay, great. Peter?
Just appreciate the clarity and the effort to keep us informed, and certainly the ongoing recruiting efforts. I also want to remind everyone that the continued effort of making partnerships with different universities and credentialing programs is of course helping support this effort, and I think I applaud those partnerships.
Ken?
Echo what Peter said. I just appreciate the information being presented in a way to easily digest it. So thank you and your team.
Good. Thanks, Ken.
Shane? James?
I don't have any questions. I appreciate the presentation very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I will just echo what they say. I do appreciate the presentations that are easy for us to look at and understand exactly what's going on. And it is just helpful to kind of know just overall kind of what's going on. So appreciate that.
Definitely. Thank you, trustees.
Okay, next we're gonna move on to our board policy updates.
Yeah, so we have this is split up into 17.1 and 2 tonight. We're back into that cadence. So 17.1, those board policies were brought at the previous school board meeting in July as a first reading, so they are up for adoption tonight. And that would be an action item. 17.2 we'll get to after that is a first reading. So Mrs. Horn is the lucky one overseeing all of these board policy adoptions. So if you have any questions, they would be for Patty.
Okay, any questions or comments on this round of policy updates, Peter?
No questions. I just do appreciate that we are making this a regular thing and trying to be clear that always striving for compliance with the law. And I continue to appreciate the, the red line additions that provide clarity to us and the public of what's actually being changed, if anything.
Okay, Ken?
No questions.
Shane?
Just like to, sorry, Patty, make sure that we proofread these items before they're listed. Item V, the word education is misspelled.
Oh, jeez.
James?
No comments.
I don't have any questions or comments either, so we would just need a motion for these policies to adopt.
Move to approve item 17.1, the 5,000 series board policies.
Second.
Okay, and the vote, Claire?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Shane?
Yes.
James?
Aye.
I'm also a yes.
And Mr. Norton is overseeing the first reading of these board policies for item 17.2. Don't know if you want to highlight anything or has to do with travel expenses.
Yeah, so the main thing here is this kind of shifts the board policy away from static operational rules and fixed dollar amounts and refocuses it basically on the overarching governance and high level of board authority with regards to travel expenses. And it shifts to a new administrative regulation which is attached to this, which focuses more on the day-to-day execution, specific rates, administrative workflows. And so they're kind of all laid out there for you. So this is just a first reading, but I'm available for any questions you have on specifics.
Okay. Any questions on this for now, or we can read them and wait for next time before we adopt? Either way, they're just a discussion item, so. Okay, with that.
Just real quick, I do
yeah, go
applaud
ahead.
the wisdom of being less rigid and yet still having the company AR that provides some guidelines so we don't go completely off the rails or whatever. It is a clear partnership and highly effective in my opinion.
Okay, perfect.
I also want to point out that, and as many regulations regarding travel expense do state this, but I also have seen where they don't, but I appreciate the non-reimbursement expenses of the alcoholic beverages and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Okay.
On this policy, is this pretty standard? Is this like a standard throughout other districts?
Yeah, they don't usually get into specifics. That usually does lie with the administrative regulation. And then we actually have even another 14-page internal travel expense and or conference policy, travel expense conference policy that goes in even more minute detail for various unique situations that could arise.
Thank you.
All right, that's just a discussion item. We will be voting on those next time. So we're gonna go ahead and move into our board reports. Mr. Critchfield?
Yeah, I just want to thank all of our staff for kicking off a great school year. We had a great district kickoff on Monday, and then today, our first day of school. All of Cabinet was out and about. At least one of us got to every single campus today, which was great to see, and the campuses that I was able to visit, and just appreciate our staff. Going back to the kickoff, it was mentioned there, but that wasn't really a public event, so I want to highlight 3 employees. One of the things that we've done over the last several years at kickoff is to celebrate our employees that hit the 5-year longevity marks in the district. And of course, as you go from 5 to 10 all the way up, you would imagine that each group gets successively smaller, right? And so I do want to highlight one employee with 30 years with the district, Sarah Borba, who is still teaching at Plymouth Elementary School. And so just want to highlight her and the great work that she continues to do for the district. And then we had 2 employees celebrating 35 years with the district. One of them, Dennis Nelson, a maintenance worker who is phenomenal and has done so many things for the district, it's hard to keep track of. I remember very specifically as a teacher during the Great Recession when the maintenance department was reduced to 1 employee. That was Dennis. He was the maintenance department for the entire district. And so he has seen it all. They highlighted the fact that he remembered his first year in the district was because we were putting in HVAC. That's for the first time. That's when we were getting HVAC for our classrooms in the district when he first started. And so just want to commend Dennis for all of his work. And then also a teacher, 35 years in the district, 35 years at the same school. Chris Lucky, math teacher, Argonaut High School. He was actually my math teacher 3 out of my 4 years when I was a student at Argonaut. And I think many, many community members can say the very same thing. And so I just want to, it's just rare to have employees reach those 30 and 35-year milestones. And while they were celebrated at our kickoff with all of our employees, I think it's also noteworthy to mention them in public and want to thank all 3 of them for their continued years in they're still with us too. We were celebrating them and they are here working on year 31 and years 36 with the district. So thank you to all 3 of them.
Okay, great. Claire, go ahead.
Well, I'm glad to start school again. But a couple things over the summer for FFA, myself and Dylan Avila, another FFA member, we got to go with Mike Penegry, I think is how you say it, to the state fair, and we got to cook in front of people. And Mike was doing a whole pesto dish, and Dylan and I were stressed about chopping up stuff to make a salad. But it was so cool, and we got asked questions and stuff, and just I didn't know it took that much effort to make a good salad, but I feel like we did a really good job, and it was a really cool experience and very unique that our school farm allowed us to have this opportunity to go out and do it on TV. So that was just really awesome. And then our ASB officers, we did a little retreat up in Tahoe. We did a whole leadership session on the beach, making a poster board that's hung up in our classroom. We got to, bond together and really plan out the school year how we intend. And that also led into our summer work days, which we planned a lot of stuff for the school year, especially our welcome rally, which went super well today. Our seniors were hype. I'm so excited. I love my class. We're super hype, and the freshmen were great. Usually they're pretty intimidated and scared coming into the first rally, but they were saying the party chant just as loud as us. So it was a very fun rally and a very good time. So I'm very excited for the school year and all the events that we're gonna put on.
Great.
Oh, wait, and sports for football, their first game at home is on the 28th against Hillmar, and then flag football at home on the 25th against Sutter, and then volleyball home on the 25th against Somerville. So be there for their first games.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Lauren?
All right. Yesterday was our freshman orientation, and that ran smoothly. We got to introduce all our new students and incoming freshmen onto our campus and just give them advice, especially the upperclassmen. We also had our senior sunrise this morning at 5:45, so that was a good way to kind of get our class together all in the field. We got to watch the sun come up and share some donuts, so that was really nice. And then we had our walk-in rally as well this morning. And for sports, we have 2 home games coming up. This Friday is the girls' first flag football game, and on the 21st is the first water polo game.
Okay, great. Thank you. Peter?
At the beginning of the school year, and I mentioned this briefly on the county side, but at the beginning of the school year, there's a lot of unsung heroes, a lot of effort behind the scenes, a lot of people collaborating and supporting each other. And so I know that's the character and type of just the spirit of educational environments. And so just wanted to say I'm grateful to all the people who go behind the scenes and don't get perhaps any kind of public accolade, but I'm grateful that we have, at least it seems to me, a culture in Amador County of big collaboration among teachers, supporting them and making it all work. So as a educator myself, it is good to be back in class and a privilege to be part of helping kids learn. So grateful to all of our employees who make that happen.
Okay, great. Ken?
I just want to mention again that the kickoff rally, I'm going to call it, thanks to Adrian. Monday morning, he was quite the master of ceremonies. That's what I'm going to call him. It was just a lot of fun to see the excitement from everybody that the school year was beginning. And I also want to commend Jared on the speech that he gave to everybody concerning that, it's not the teachers and the students, it's not two separate groups. We have to take the input from our students to hopefully help them run their schools how they want them run. And you could tell he got pretty emotional during it. And I just think we're very lucky to have a superintendent that's been a teacher and a principal and on the cabinet, and now he's a superintendent, and he's invested in our community. So thank you for that, Jared. And then also, I guess it's kind of a rarity. This is the second time I've been here for a school year start, and all the faces are exactly the same. So, Jared's mentioned many times how there's a lot of turnover in our cabinet. There's not right now, and that's helping us get a lot of continuity going and getting some things done. So I appreciate all of you too. So thank you.
Shane?
Yes, I also attended the kickoff, and it was really really good to see the enthusiasm from all the teachers, and I'm hoping that they have a good year, and not only for them but also the students. I will throw it out there that I have been sharing information that's been presented to the board. I've been sharing it online, and I will continue to share that, providing slides and anything that has been presented to our board. And if anyone out in the public has questions, they can feel free to email me, call me, or text me. Get a hold of me anytime if they have any questions. Thank you.
James?
Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the kickoff at Argonaut. I was having a procedure done at the VA, but I'm excited to kick off the new school year. I was honored to attend briefly. I didn't attend the whole thing. The talent show that was held at Argonaut High School by the ARC. This is the first time that I have seen it, and it was probably one of the most amazing things that I have seen before me. The the contestants in the talent show were absolutely amazing. It was the most heartwarming thing that I've seen, and if you haven't attended it, attend it. It's pretty amazing, and to see the people that support that talent show within the community, within our district. Of course, the OG of all OGs, Mr. Giles Turner, was there. It's a great thing to attend. I thought it was great. Yeah, welcome back, and it's another year. Thank you.
Okay. I will echo what they said. I also attended our kickoff. I told Jared that I said, as a former teacher, I totally appreciated the short but sweet is what I felt that was. It was nice. Everyone got together, had some breakfast, got to see each other, chit chat. I felt that it was a great positive start to the year. I think that people seemed genuinely, the morale was good, I felt, at the kickoff. And so that was really nice to see. I thought Jared's speech was great. Adrian has a side gig as a DJ or a bouncer or something in his future when he's done here at HR. But I did want to say today was the first day of school. Thank you to everybody for being there. It is a big undertaking to get a school year started off. I mentioned this at the county meeting, but I'll mention it again. A lot of our county employees have an even bigger task when you're welcoming students who aren't typically developing and they're coming to school, and that's a big deal for a lot of those kids to come, and it can be a very overwhelming day for students and staff, so hopefully they're taking a nice relaxing evening and gearing up for round 2 tomorrow. With that, I just wanted to take a minute tonight to share something now that the filing period for the upcoming election has closed. Some people have already noticed that I did not file to run again. After a lot of thought and conversation with Tyler, I have decided that I won't be seeking another term on the board. It wasn't a decision that I made lightly because I have actually really enjoyed serving on the board, and having that opportunity to serve as board president as well has meant a lot to me. I'm grateful that the community has trusted me with the opportunity to serve the students and the families here. But our family is also headed into a new chapter. My husband is in the process of starting a new business, which is something we're very excited about, but is a large undertaking for us as well. We are also pursuing some medical treatment and therapies for our son that is going to require us a lot of travel out of state and time in between being those things and just being a mom to 4 small children. I realize that this is a season where I want and need to have flexibility and focus on my family. I'm proud of the time I've spent on the board, and I am grateful to still be here until December. With that, our next meeting is August 26th here. We're gonna follow, open session will be at 7 for the district meeting. And with that, we are adjourned.